Hello, welcome to the Q. It is Operation 20th Corps, and it is not the U.S., but it is the Commonwealth and France turn. Taking over for Global War Enthusiast as he is out of town. So we're going to knock out that turn. It is turn 16 for the Commonwealth and France. Let's look at their purchases. They have 35 for Great Britain. They're going to finish their heavy cruiser by a fighter, by a transport, 2 infantry, 1 militia, and 1 colonial, saving $1. FEC will buy an airborne, an infantry, Gurkha, and a colonial infantry. Anzac will spend all their cash on an air transport, and France will buy 2 Foreign Legion. So all the money spent except Britain saved $1 on the transport. Their tech is advanced artillery and amphib doctrine. So those are at 7. So we'll do amphib first. Nope. Airborne, no. What did I say first? I think I said amphib first. So that means advanced artillery is the next one. I did it out of order, and well, they both failed, so it didn't matter. They were both 7s. They both failed. So let's go on to some combat. We have an assault here in Tobruk. We have a transport coming out of Gibraltar with a marine and infantry. 1, 2 into M8 that will come in, amphibiously, of course. This infantry will walk in from Tobruk. We've got a fighter here in Gibraltar. 1, 2, 3. He has a movement of 2 left. And we got a medium bomber here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has a movement of 3 left because of the air base. So that is the Tobruk battle. And I believe that was the only one on the med side. Over here, we've got quite a few little battles going on here. We've got our 2 transports in I-13. We'll grab 2 Marines and 2 infantry, and we'll be overkill here in the, what is that? Lesser Sunda Islands. It is defended by 1 militia, but we can only designate 1 aircraft, so that's why it's a problem. Coming out of Malaya with an air base, 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll have a movement of 2 left. Now, the transports will be here in P60, along with the entirety of the British fleet. I say that. I think we're going to leave the light cruiser there. And so I'm going to move them all right now, just so it's clear, because we've got 2 bombards, 3 bombards actually. I'll put those there. But the entire fleet's going into P60. I'll move those there when I'm done. That light cruiser is going somewhere else. All right, this carrier will come over and catch that fighter on the card here in P60. All right, so that is 1 attack. A second attack and third attack. This transport will come out of Malaya into C-Zone P50 with 1 FEC infantry, lands in an undefended Sarawak, and 1 British infantry, which lands in an undefended Cochin China. And I watched the recap twice to make sure they were open, and they were. So that's battles 2 and 3. We've got Siam, so we're going to send out 2 Anzac artillery and 2 Gurkha into Siam, and trying to get all this in line here. That will be that attack. We've got... no, that transporter is strategic naval moving. So that was it for that. We've got a risky attack here. We've got our airborne coming out of Calcutta and 2 fighters from Malaya. They'll both have a movement of 4 left, and they're going into Burma. So Burma, Siam, 2 walk-ons, lesser, whatchamacallit, sundries, I guess. And that's it, right? The French do have an attack. I'll put that there so I don't forget them. They have an attack. So let's roll some dice. We have a heavy cruiser. So this heavy cruiser is coming up 1-2. So we'll have 1 bombarded. 2. Well, I guess it'll be a 1 because there's a fort there. So that's it. Let's roll some dice. We have a British cruiser bombarding at a 1. Nope. The fort defends with 2 first strikes at a 5. Gets 1. We have to take the Marine. Okay, so the Marine is down. That leaves us with 2 infantry in the desert at 1. Oh, that was a good roll. We got a fighter at 6 and a bomber at 7. Oh my gosh. Are we really doing this? And the Italian infantry defends at 5. It misses. All right, round 2. 2 infantry at 1. Actually, that because of that fort, that infantry defended at 6, but it was a 9, so it didn't matter. All right, next up is the fighter at 6. Thank you. Bomber at 7. 2 hits. All right, and then now the infantry is at 5 that defends. And it does get a hit. So that is the stinker. We'll lose that. We'll kill that. Fort's gone. We take Tobruk with 1 infantry. All right, so that's the casualty pile. All right, so I think I'm going to move this over here with these dice. And we'll just roll them over here. Hopefully I don't make a mess. All right, we'll keep the dice down here. All right, so we'll just start here and work our way up. We've got 2 battleship bombards and a battle cruiser. And the battle cruiser's at 3. The battleship gets it. That battle's over. All right, well, I should have maybe trusted my first instinct there, but brought the fighter to be sure. All right, so the next battle, walk on. Here we've got 2 artilleries in the jungle. It is not mountainous, no. So the 2 artillery first strikes are at 3. Misses. The 2 Gurkhas in the jungle, I don't think they're boosted by the artillery. But they're at they missed too. All right, so the Japanese defend at a 4 and misses. All right, so now I think I can roll them all together. The 2 artillery will be the yellow in case it matters, but they're all at 3. There's a hit. So the Japanese guy is gone. He defends at a 4, and he gets 1. So what's easier to replace, the artillery or the Gurkha? So we've replaced... you know what? The Gurkha defends at a much better rate in the jungle. So we'll lose 1 artillery, and that guy is gone. So 2 Gurkhas and an Anzac artillery take it. All right, put my casualties somewhere. Next one is an airdrop in the jungle. The airborne's at 3. It gets a hit. Cool. The 2 fighters at 6. Another hit. All right, here it is. Defense of the Japanese infantry was 4 or less, so that battle pans out. All right, so Japan flag goes down 1, and down 1 here in Sarawak. So those 2 are FBC territories. Cochin China will be British because it was a British infantry that went in there. And this was a multinational force, Commonwealth force, so that makes Siam British too. the way I understand it. All right, so 2 up for Britain, 2 up for FEC, 4 down. Oh, all right, so let's do that again. 3 up for Britain, 2 up for FEC, and 5 down for Japan. So Japan will drop to 39. They'll go up 3. FEC will go up to full. How do they get to full? Oh, because they have Iran. They have Iran. The only thing they're missing is Hong Kong now. All right. All right. So let's land. Let's get the dice out of the way so we can get our movements down here. All right. So this was an Anzac. Oh no, it's not. What was that? Oh, doggone it. I think that was an infantry. That was a, oh no, it wasn't an Anzac infantry. It was an FEC infantry. All right, I'm building an FEC infantry in Malaya, so I'll put him on there, that colonial. Those are Gurkhas. I'll have to chip that out. So the 2 fighters from Burma come back to Malaya because we like that air base there. All right. This is strategic naval movement. All right, so this plane will land on the carrier in P60. There's the 2 battleships, the battle cruiser, the 2 transports, and then all that is on the Lesser Sundry Island there. All right. So is that it for down here? All right, so we got a rail movement. We're railing 1 Anzac infantry over to Western Australia. We're going to take these 2 chips, trade them out for these 2 infantry. 1 infantry will move to Queensland. 1 motorized will go to Queensland, towing 1 anti-aircraft gun. That's an anti-aircraft gun I'll have to chip out. All right, I'll leave those others there because there's no threat to the Southland here now. All right, so that's it for Anzac. We've got our movements here. We've got our planes landed. This air transport goes back to Calcutta because we're building another airborne. Let's see. Now I've got this tank and 2 infantry in Punjab. I don't know what his plan there was, but I think they're going to come back to southern Iran. So the 2 FEC infantry and FEC medium armor go back to southern Iran. All right, moving down south. We got to bring up this carrier, 1, 2, into M8, as it's going to have that fighter land on it. This bomber here has a movement of 3 left. I think it's just going to come back to, what is that, Upper Egypt. All right. So we've got this destroyer that is in, what is that? I can't see. I-4 comes up to M8 as well. Dang it, I didn't mark it, and I didn't roll for the convoying. Stinkers. All right. So that is that. Let's see what we got going on. We got this fighter here in Italian Somaliland. He'll come 1, 2, 3, 4 into Malaya. So we got our 3-plane scramble again. We've got this infantry in Tanganyika walking up 1. We've got a transport here that's in port here in Upper Egypt. It comes out into M8. So it comes down 1, 2, grabs the infantry and armor from Italian Somaliland. 3 goes in port in Upper Egypt, but on the opposite side, and drops off the armor and the infantry. The 2 infantry from Transjordan will walk back. The 2 infantry from southern Iraq will walk into southern Iran. Oh, that was a French guy. He's going to walk there. All right, so that's that. He's going to stay put. And we've got a strategic rail move that consists of mostly rivers. So from French Guinea, we can follow the river into French Sudan, into Nigeria, into Cameroon, into Belgian Congo, where they hop the rail, into Rhodesia, and they rail all the way up to Nubia. All right. That was a weird one. That had to be explained to me, how that was going to work. All right, so what else do we have over here? We've got a transport in Gibraltar. It will grab an armor and one of these Marines, and it will come over 1, 2. The transport will go in port in Tripoli and drop off the Marine and the armor in Tripolitania. All right. This destroyer in A41, 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's an FE. No, it looks like an Anzac destroyer. And then this seaplane from Puerto Rico. It has an air base. It has long range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into southern England. I believe one of these fighters is flying from southern England. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Gibraltar. And this transport is grabbing, is it grabbing an AA gun and an infantry or 2 infantry? I think it's just going to grab the 2 infantry. All right, and here comes 1, 2, 3 into Gibraltar. We didn't really talk about what it was bringing down. I don't think we need 2. You know what? We didn't talk about it, but let's do it. Let's bring 1. So I'll leave that as an infantry, and we'll bring down an anti-aircraft gun. All right, do I have any infantry laying around? I can chip that out. We can put it here and take this infantry back up there. All right, now we're kosher with the chips. I think we're going to leave the fighter up north, or are we? Not sure why he wants the fighter up north. I think he built it up there. We're going to move it down to southern England just for grins, because we got an air base there. And I think we're golden. Let's look and see if I've missed any arrows. Sometimes it's a little difficult jumping into somebody else's turn. Those were the trade outs. I got to get an anti-aircraft gun for that. All right. Okay, let's place our goods and then get on to the Frenchies. The air transport obviously goes in Sydney. And over here, here's the 4 units for the FEC. So we've got a factory there in Malaya. So we place an infantry, and then we place a colonial infantry in Malaya. The Gurkha goes in Bengal, and the airborne goes in Calcutta. All right. Last but not least, we didn't get that, so we don't get to place it. The heavy cruiser and transport will go in port here in, what is this, southern England. You know, he did mention bringing this battleship down in the last second. I think we'll leave it. All right. So that is that. All right, so we've got a militia, which is going to go all the way over here in Sumatra. We have a colonial, which is going here in Upper Egypt. 2 infantry and a fighter go into London, which means one of the infantry that was already in London will walk over. All right, so we got those 2 stacks. All right. That is that. Income-wise, Britain's at 33, 36. No subs, but I think convoy rating counts. So just 36. So they'll have 36 plus 1, be 37 for next turn. FEC has 14 plus 2 will be 16 for FEC. Anzac, I think just has 5 because their bonus, is no warships, and there is a warship, so they'll have 5 for Anzac, I guess 5. I don't have their money right. France, well, they're spending all 8. They're at 7, so they'll have 7 for next turn. Let's do the French turn, shall we? We've got, 1 attack. This French sub comes up into P50 to convoy raid. Let's roll that dice. All right, so the ghost dice is the French sub, and it is no longer +2. Well, it is +2, but Japan is +1 now because they have radar. 1 damage. So it's 2 to 2, so that makes it 4 to 3. Where's my damage markers? So French do 1 damage. That leaves 4 for the U.S. on their turn. And I will leave that marker there so that I remember the U.S. to convoy raid. All right. Oh, that's what I was doing. Okay. That really threw me off because I had something else I was doing with that. All right. I forgot to move that Anzac transport. Which means I think we'll just go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll go in port here in Tanganyika. So that's not what I intended. So that means I'm going to change my purchase. Instead of purchasing or placing 2 infantry in London, I'll place 1 in that fighter, and I'll place the other infantry here in Somaliland so he has something to grab. All right. My mistake. All right, so we did that. So French non-com. This torpedo boat destroyer will come out of port here into P50. What other French moves do we got? We got 2 Foreign Legion going up into Nubia from Sudan. We've got 1 Foreign Legion here in Syria that rails down to Lower Egypt. And the other one is walking over to southern Iraq. So let's chip out that because we got a big stack of Foreign Legion there. We'll put that there. All right, so I think that is it for France. Okay, so we got an air base, and we got a French fighter there. That's it. So France places its 2, which go in Syria, the 2 Foreign Legion. And we are completely done. Went over the cash. Now let's go over the units. In northern England is a militia. Southern England, 2 seaplanes, 3 fighters, 2 infantry, 4 militia, 1 anti-aircraft gun. In port is a transport, a heavy cruiser, a coastal defense ship, a destroyer, torpedo boat destroyer, and a battleship. In London is 5 infantry, 2 AA. Looks like 5 militia or 4 militia and a fighter. In Gibraltar is 2 anti-aircraft guns, 3 Marines. I'm going to stack that so I don't get that wrong. 3 Marines, 1 medium armor, 1 militia, 1 infantry, 1 airborne. and 1 transport in port. Oh, there's also a fighter. Looking down south, we got nothing. Transport in port in Tripoli. And Tripolitania has a armor, medium armor, and a marine. Tobruk has 1 infantry. That was a costly battle. M8, well, M4 is a sub and a coastal sub. Malta is a militia. Cyprus is a militia. M8 is a destroyer, heavy cruiser, fighter, light carrier, transport. In Lower Egypt is a French fighter, French medium bomber, French Foreign Legion, 1 anti-aircraft gun, 1 British medium bomber, 1 militia, 1 marine, 2 medium armor, 1 colonial, what is that, 3, 6, 7 infantry. I guess that would be 8 infantry. They're all the same. And then in port in the lower side, in the Red Sea side, is a transport. 2 infantry in Nubia. Anzac transport in Tanganyika. 2 infantry in Somaliland. This sub here in French I-4 doesn't need to be there, so he'll come 1, 2. Oh, he could have convoy raided. My bad. So we're keeping going. All right, Iran. 1 French Foreign Legion. 1 Foreign Legion. Let's start in Syria. 2 Foreign Legion. South Iraq, Foreign Legion. Iran, Southern Iran, 1 Foreign Legion. 2, 6 British infantry. 3 FEC infantry. 1 FEC medium armor and an anti-aircraft gun. Militia in southern India and Ceylon, Sumatra. In Calcutta, 3 militia, 2 anti-aircraft guns, 5 infantry, 1 airborne, 1 air transport. Gurkha in Burma, airborne in Burma. Siam is 2 Gurkhas, a Anzac artillery. Cochin China is an infantry. In British Malaya is 1 FEC artillery, basically 3 FEC infantry, 5 Gurkhas, 4 anti-aircraft guns, 3 Anzac infantry, 2 militia, and 3 fighters. I think 2 of them are FEC and 1's British. NP-50 is a Anzac transport, French torpedo boat destroyer, French sub, British sub. Sarawak is an infantry. Lesser Sundries Islands, 2 Marines, 2 infantry. And then in P60, and I forgot to move this, I'll move this right here when I'm done talking, is 2 light cruisers. 1 of them is Anzac. 3 destroyers, 1 torpedo boat destroyer, 2 battleships, 1 battle cruiser, 2 transports, light carrier, and a fighter. This light cruiser that I said was moving is just going over 1, 2, 3, and going in port here in Lower Egypt. And that is that. So let's move on to Anzac finally. 1 infantry in Western Australia. Queensland is an infantry anti-aircraft gun motorized. New South Wales, 2 militia infantry. In Sydney is an anti-aircraft gun, airborne, air transport, 3 militia, 1 infantry, and finally the last item is a militia in North Islands. All right, that is it for the British turn. Up next will be Italy, and then I'll be back probably tomorrow, I'm going to guess, with USA.